teleport onto a seat.
Onto seat.
I think he's coming in.
Let's see if I can meet him at the spawn point here.
Yes, moon stage.
Oh, it sounds
Might
like
have
he's
to.
here.
The first
Cool.
time it might have to load.
Mm-hmm.
It might have to load the first time. This is crazy. I'm on the phone to you, and you're about to pop into my virtual space.
We have multiple realities taking place right now.
And yeah, we are. The zeros and ones are literally flying around right now. I'm gonna see you pop in here any minute.
So Rod, on your right hand, if you teleport into a seat, you'll see a seat load icon, and you should be able to sit in it.
Okay. Cool.
Chris, I'm just putting everybody in a 3D audio right now.
Yes, I appreciate that. I was going to do the same.
Perfect. Any minute now.
Okay. Let's try to teleport to a seat.
Yeah, so you see like a seat icon when you hover
It's
over.
a nice view of Earth from here, yeah?
Yeah, it's
Or when you teleport over, if you keep your
a lot closer than I thought it would be when we got to the moon. You know?
Got a red arrow.
Okay. All right. He's 70%, guys. He's coming in any minute.
70%, 70% loaded. All right.
All right.
Oh, really? It's taking a while.
Like
to
we
load.
do a countdown. T minus 15.
Minus.
10. 9.
How fitting.
Beep, beep. He's so great. You're gonna port straight up to the moon, Gabriel. From Earth to the moon in 15 seconds.
We're waiting on a few people, Chris, are we?
Yeah, Gabriel's trying to get in right now. He's about 80% loaded, it says. We're waiting for that spawn to happen. He should be about here, yeah, Daniel?
Yeah, any minute now, he's gonna drop in here. Okay, try again. It can happen. First time it has to load the space. Thank you for your patience, guys. Turns out that working in space is a bit trickier than we thought. Here we go. We have a Gabriel.
We
Oh my
have
word,
Gabriel
that is
has
so
entered
cool.
the room.
All right, I'll hang up the
Yeah.
phone, my friend. Wonderful.
You guys hear me?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, can hear you. Can you hear us?
Can hear you. Thank you.
Yeah, fantastic. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Yep.
Wonderful. All right, Gabriel, come on up. Come on to the front here. Follow me. We'll bring you up to the stage.
Gabriel, if you look at your right hand controller, you'll see a teleport button there. Hold that teleport button down, aim where you
All
want
right,
to jump
Tom,
to,
we're
and then
about ready to
release
go.
it,
I'm
and
not
you'll
sure
jump
about
to that
Anson. I
spot.
haven't heard anything, but we'll
Excellent.
start with Gabriel. I think that's a good start. Okay.
Great.
Yeah. Do you want to slide up front here? Yeah, you can just slide. You should
And
be
now,
able to use
Gabriel,
your.
if
Oh,
you
yeah,
aim
that's
your
great.
teleport at one of those seats, when the sit icon appears, you can release it and you'll be in the seat. Excellent. Nice
Hey,
job.
Tom.
Great to see you.
Wonderful. Here we are. Okay, I haven't heard from Anson, I'm sorry to say, but we're going to make a start. And this is amazing. Thank you, Tom, for coming. Thank you, Gabriel, for making it at the last minute. Wonderful. How was your trip? If you look behind you, wait, sorry, that was the wrong one. If you look behind you to your right, Gabriel, you've just made that trip from planet Earth in just a couple of seconds there. So that didn't take so long.
The power
All right.
of virtual reality. I love it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, well, I was going to do a bit of an introduction myself, but I thought I would do, so let me see, there we go. I thought I would have my clone do that for me. Let me have a look. I hope this is the one. Oh no, that's not the one. Wait, recording. Wait, Chris, if I'm recording in 3D, can I load a 3D asset? Probably not.
No.
Oh, shame. Okay, no problem. I was going to do a little bit something tricky and clever.
But
There we
we have multiple recordings going on. If you want to stop yours and do that, you're more than welcome.
Right. Let me do
He
that.
can do that,
I'm
Chris.
going to do that.
Oh, can
Okay.
you do it the same, load and record at the same time?
Yeah, as long as you're not
Oh.
if you're loading a recording, it's not going to show up in your recording. But that's the only
That's
thing you
okay.
have to worry about there.
We will, right, we'll do this. There we go. All right, here we go. Hello.
And it, mhm. And it might take a few seconds for it
Looking
to
out
load
over
for us. There
planet
he is.
Earth for an amazing panel we have set up for the 2020 Educators in VR International Summit. We are 3 days into this crazy event. Most of the sessions have gone really, really well. We've had all of the speakers deliver a whole range of amazing topics from AR, VR, XR, people doing research into dementia, keeping native languages alive, dance in VR. We have so many more topics coming, but right now I just want to tell you how excited I am about having our guests here. Tom Furness, Gabriel Rene, and Anson Ho. Tom Furness is from the Virtual World Society. You most likely know him. As you may well know, Gabriel Rene, who is the author of The Spatial Web, and I am so excited he's joined us here. I'm super psyched about The Spatial Web, and I want to hear everything he has to say. And Anson Ho from Microsoft Education. I'm going to leave you to it now. I hope you enjoy this panel, and see you on the other side.
Nice hologram, Daniel.
I was feeling a bit lazy. I thought I would assign my clone to do that for me, but my clone didn't have the foresight that Anson Ho might not make it. Sorry about that. So here we are. Tom, Gabriel, thank you for making it.
This is wonderful.
Wonderful, absolutely. So we're here to let me bring up just the sorry. I want to bring up the title slide behind us there. This is my media. Right, there we go. We're seeing that? There we go. Okay. Yeah, there we are. We're here for a panel about vision of the future, and I chose this title because VR is all about vision, whether it's virtual reality or mixed reality, but also because I wanted to, oh, has he dropped out? I think he'll come back when he's ready.
He'll be back. Yeah.
Yeah, I also thought that it was a fitting title because it's also about what we foresee at us and for the future generation. So vision of the future, the idea is that it's the vision for the new generation as well. I know Tom is really passionate about this, right? I was going to ask some questions, but maybe it's a good opportunity, Tom, to ask you about a project that you're very passionate about, which is your learning living rooms. Should we chat about that a little bit? Yeah? Yeah, please. Yeah. Yeah. But we're going to have him back. You said 6 p.m. Pacific time on Friday. We're going to finish that talk, or even start it from the beginning. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. All right. Hi, Gabriel. Yeah. 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 Thank you. Right. Oh no, he is Gabriel. He is Gabriel. That's Gabriel. He's jumped the other side of you. No.
Sorry, Tom.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, yes.
Yeah, the spatial web, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Exactly. Right. Yes. Yes, it is. Yes. Right. Yes. Interesting. Yes. Mhm. Right. Right. Yeah. Yes. That really ties in. That really ties in with Gabriel's. No, I want to call it a concept. It's not a concept. Gabriel's book, The Spatial Web. Is that right? This quickening, Gabriel.
Yes, I think that when we flash back to the early '90s, I was a student. I was working with Dan Mapes at Cyber Lab, and that was where I was first introduced to outside of science fiction narratives, the actual work that Tom and his folks were doing,
Yeah.
which came out of the Air Force and then became part of the work at the University of Washington. And just as the World Wide Web was emerging, my vision of it immediately was that it will become 3D. It'll be an immersive web, right?
Okay.
Sort of metaverse narrative we talked about before. Fast, from then until now, it's roughly a little under years. And look at the pace of change and acceleration. The computing speed that's occurred with Moore's law, then the expansion of networks with Metcalfe's law. We can see this radical acceleration from adoption of the internet to the adoption of the mobile, which was the smartphone. In 2007, we basically had zero smartphones. By the time we arrived at 2017, we had 50% of the planet is using smart with more power than took to go to the moon by far. So I think this radical pace of change really prompts the question of what is it that we need to learn? What are we educating for in the 21st century? And I think Tom,
good
your
question.
point there was well, it used to be an industrial model where we're trying to teach people to learn to get a particular type of job, to act in the world a certain way. So I lifelong learning model that Tom's talking about. And I think beyond the education in the home, the notion of the spatial web kind of says that education is everywhere you go all the time, or the opportunity to learn you're immersed in it constantly. Any object, any person, any environment could suddenly teach you about it. And so I think it causes us to reconsider what we mean by education in the 21st century. And that's what's exciting about this event for me.
Yeah. I think it's a very good point about what are we educating our kids for. I'm a father. Many of you probably here are parents. My son is 11 years old, and I'm not happy with the education he's getting. He's at a fairly good school, but I feel it's holding him back a little bit, and I want to expose him to more than he's getting there. And I'm wondering, what is his school actually preparing him for? Is he going to need any of that? Is his work life going to require the skills and the exposures he's getting through the education system at the moment? It's a big question. Yeah. Indeed he does. He is. He absolutely is. Right. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. 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 Yes. 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 Ab- Absolutely. Yes. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yes. Yeah. Tom, can I just for 1 second, can I just ask a question? Is anybody typing in the background? Because a lot of audio is coming through. Maybe we could, Chris, do you hear that as well? I hear a TV in the background and there was some typing. Are we okay?
Me, how do I mute?
So you can mute your microphone, Gabriel, but then you can't talk. Or if you can shut down the background noise, that would. There you go. The keyboard I can hear in the TV.
I don't think I'm near a keyboard, but may not be me. But
Okay.
if I can mute, I can at least tamp down some of the background noise.
Okay, just in between you talking, if you mute yourself, and then we'll unmute you. No problem. Sorry, Tom, I interrupted you. Go on.
The microphone is on the right-hand side of the menu, Gabriel.
Yes. Yes. Right. Yes. 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 Okay. Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. Wonderful. Tom, I'm going to interrupt you one more time. I'm so sorry, but we have just got Anson in the room. We've just got Anson in here. Anson, you made it wonderful. If you teleport, if you click your teleporter onto that chair next to Gabriel, you'll jump to the chair, Anson.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Cool.
lovely. If you use
Just
your
hold-
teleporter button,
Hold your
over
teleport
the-
button down,
Just
aim at a
right-click.
chair, and then release
there
it.
you go.
There you
We have
go.
Anson in the house, everybody.
Woo!
Fantastic, Anson. Thank you so
Sorry
much for
about
coming.
that.
Yay!
That's okay. We have the full panel. We made it.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Engage crashed on me.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Did they hold you up at immigration or something?
No.
Lovely. This is wonderful. Okay, Anson. For everybody who doesn't know, Anson is the program manager for Microsoft Education, and he gave a wonderful talk in AltSpace 2 hours ago about mixed reality in the classroom, and he was talking about the immersive reader project. Maybe we'll mention that later. Thank you so much for coming, Anson. We're going to hear Tom talk a little bit more about the learning living room, and then we'll come back to our regular questions that I had prepared. Tom, over to you. Go on. You were talking about your project. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Fantastic. Fantastic. Yes. 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 And the virtual world society, right? Yes. Yes. 10 million families. Let's do this. Yes. Yes. Right. Okay. Oop. Yes. Yes. Learning programs. Yes. Absolutely. $1 billion. A sweet $1 billion. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Tom. Lovely. We're gonna open up to some of the other questions, but just before we do, Tom, just to let everybody know, the Virtual World Society and Educators in VR, we decided to partner up just a week ago because of the huge overlap of what we're doing. And the Educators in VR, we're developing a project called the Borderless Classroom Network. Tom, I think there's so much overlap that the classrooms and schools involved in that and the families involved in that, we can maybe accelerate together. Let's talk about that at some time soon. So I'm gonna just come to one of the questions I had. I want to ask quite a general question now. I'm start off with a general question. So my first question is, and Tom, you have more experience with this than most, but virtual reality, kind of mass adoption of virtual reality, has been predicted a number of times, at least I think 2 or 3 times, when people said, this is it, we're going to have it, it's going to happen. And I wanted to ask each of you, and maybe starting with Anson, and then coming to Gabriel and Tom, do you think now is the time when VR is going to become mass adopted, Anson?
Yeah, can everyone hear me properly?
Yes.
Yes, can hear
Awesome.
you. Thank you, Anson.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I think for us, when we talk about mass adoption, I think it's talking about what specific scenario that we're talking about, either if it's through the consumer segment or through specific industries. I think when you look at a lot in the enterprise and also in education, I think that's when VR is starting to be more mass adopted because of the right scenarios are being created, the right
Yes.
content is there, and the right price point and the right business ROI is there for educators and institutions and enterprises to adopt VR. And I think as we start unraveling more and more interesting and valuable case studies and scenarios that return the right investment for our users, then that's when VR will be mass adopted. And I think we've seen VR used already a lot in film and industry and the medical industry, and etc., because of the great ROI we see there.
Right. Right. Okay. Thank you. Gabriel, what do you think? Is this the real thing? Are we in for the long haul now, or is it another false start?
No, I would definitely say this is the beginning of the real thing. It's, the challenge that we see from the vantage point of adoption is kind of beyond the usual suspects, which is compute speed and optics and all the sort of hardware requirements, which now you're seeing tens of billions of dollars in research.
Yeah.
Outside of AI, there isn't a single other category with this much coordinated effort from the largest companies in the world. It's unprecedented, I believe.
So AI is bigger at the moment still?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
But they're going to connect anyway. These are just chocolate and peanut butter just meant to go together.
Yeah.
But the thing that's really missing is that word processors were very useful, but web pages became more useful because they became networked. And so the challenge that you have in VR adoption beyond the hardware sides, which we're seeing radical progress in, is fundamentally how do you network between them?
Okay.
This is a web space instead of a website. How do we go to the next one and the next one and the next one? And so the friction of those challenges have to be solved, and that's a lot of the work that we're doing at Versus. So I think we need a spatial browser that allows us to be able to move between these environments and maintain state and maintain avatars and all this sort of stuff. So I think that's coming.
And does that sounds a lot like WebXR?
Yes, but the problem I see with WebXR is WebXR, in our opinion, is a little like trying to put wings on a car and trying to fly across, the country. HTTP is not designed. It's a text-based protocol. It's not a spatial protocol. So we need new protocols like the hyperspace transaction protocol that we've developed that is fundamentally multidimensional and fundamentally spatial and considers those requirements as a default. Like, you have to understand aerodynamics in order to build a plane. It's not just about mere transportation, which the car did fairly well, right? So I think there's a shift in thinking, and we're very supportive of all the great work people are doing with WebXR. I think ultimately a new protocol is required in order to really solve.
All right. Thank you very much. Tom, what about you? I mean, you've been in the game a long time. What do you think? Are we going to see another one, Tom? Yeah. Yes, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Big deal. Yeah. 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 Uh-huh. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. 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 Absolutely. I want to bring Anson in on this because Anson obviously is working with Microsoft here, and Microsoft has however many billion computers around the planet operating. And I know listening to you and your talk earlier, Microsoft is heavily invested in bringing mixed reality to classrooms. Is that right? And kind of merging the existing offering you have in 2D with things like the HoloLens and the immersive reader. Um, do you see uptake of spatial technologies for via Microsoft offerings at a rate you would like to see? Is it accelerating in a way you're happy with, or is it still slow for you?
Yeah, for me, it's excelling really quickly, especially in specific domains. Like if you talk about in medical, specifically about adopting HoloLens as a way to learn anatomy, because it's
Yeah,
such a cost reducer for the business or for the institution, as well as it makes tremendous learning outcome differences for our students. And I think
yeah,
those are the key scenarios that we need to double down on. Is like I mentioned earlier, is the scenarios that is valuable to both the business as well as
yes.
our end user. And I think within medical is where we see the largest uptake.
Okay,
And in other high risk or expensive domains as well, like such as engineering or manufacturing, are
right.
two examples of domains and areas in which education can really
Yeah,
be transformed with this piece of technology.
okay. I see. And I wanted to ask you, Gabriel, because I know, or I think I'm correct in saying this, one of the areas with your development around the spatial web is the concern for keeping the web open and free and accessible. Can you tell us a little bit about that? How important is that, and how close are we to doing that?
Well, it's based on the precedent of the World Wide Web really functioning as a global utility,
Yeah,
public utility, which is the first of its kind, certainly built on the backbone of the internet. But as an information space, that's unprecedented and remarkable. And but in the beginning, there were lots of folks that thought they would try their own attempts to kind of create a walled garden. You had AOL, you had Prodigy and CompuServe.
yeah,
So a lot of what we're seeing in the AR space, the AR space tends to sort of try to expand out from the gaming environment. And the AR starts from a different direction with the notion of the AR clouds, but there isn't any underlying common standard for communication between these
yeah,
things, and without it's very difficult to ensure any sort of openness. So if people develop their own protocol standards at the heart of it, then we'll really miss out. So we launched the Spatial Web Foundation, and we will be ensuring that the core programs that we're developing are designed for to be open standards. We're working with the IEEE and other groups around the world to
yeah.
ensure that. So we think that
Okay,
that's the next largest public utility, for humanity, is going to be
yeah,
this next iteration of the web, which is really a spatial web, which moves from an information space to interaction spaces.
yeah,
And so there are then much deeper questions and concerns around biometric data and privacy
yep,
and security, which have to be considered, which also were lacking in the original web architecture. So I think both open, but what we call our TIPS framework, which is trusted, interoperable, private, and secure, where you
yeah.
can get
Okay,
those benefits at scale, but you can still maintain sort of the civil liberties that we count on.
okay. All right. I want to ask another different question, and that is, you hear a lot of talk about, well, I hear a lot of talk about people saying, what's the killer app of VR? And I know what they're asking because we waited for that with the World Wide Web. And I think everybody here remembers having their very first email. That seemed to be kind of a thing that everybody understood and was functional and useful, and yeah, became adopted very quickly. The term killer app is maybe the best. Maybe we can come up with a better one. But do we have a killer app? And if so, what do you think it is? I have my own opinion, and I'll tell you that in a minute. But Tom, what do you think we have a killer app for immersive technology, for spatial technology yet? What's that? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. You have to heat them. Yep. Yeah. 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 Still. Right. 30-year-old strategy. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. So for you, in debt. Yeah. How many headsets could you buy for $100,000, right? All right. So for you, the killer app, Tom, is education. I want to pass it on to Anson and then Gabriel. Anson, for you, is there a killer app? And if so, what is it?
Yeah, I think that the killer app is something that we talked a lot about inside this VR space. But I think that there's killer apps for specific scenarios that uh, we talk about. Like going back to my previous point on anatomy, I think that's a killer app on how students learn anatomy inside the classes. For example, in Case Western, every single medical student now is using the HoloLens to learn anatomy within the class,
Wow.
right? And that's the way that this application has transformed how students are learning anatomy
Yeah.
and how they
Yeah.
perceive and understand the world.
Yeah.
And when you talk about killer application, I really believe it's applications that allow a educator to create is where we'll see more success. Where
Okay.
it's just not one of those static experiences where you're able to sit and go through an experience from step A to step C. It's one
Yeah.
that actually allows a student to experiment, explore, as well as to create.
Okay. So it sounds like for you, it's the killer app, if there is one, is still in education. You say? What about
100%? And
100%?
go ahead.
You go. Yeah, go.
Yeah. And for example, if you look at a lot of the killer apps that we're creating, at least the apps that we're creating at Microsoft, a lot of them are focused on cross-domain fundamental apps that I believe that are needed in AR and VR. So let me give you an example
Okay.
of that. So,
Yeah.
for example, Microsoft, the Dynamics 365 guides is a way where you can augment instructions, digital instructions onto real life objects.
Yeah.
And also I almost call it like the PowerPoint for AR and VR. Through
Okay.
a simple PowerPoint like interface on the PC,
Yeah.
a creator can create any content, and then
Yeah.
anyone can be using those set of instructions to teach a specific procedural process.
Okay.
And the reason why I believe that's a killer app is it's a simple to get concept. It allows the users to create whatever content they need.
Yeah.
It's very easy to measure the ROI and the business value and the user value of this experience. But
Okay.
I echo what Tom said. It's focused on training and education is I think where the biggest apps will be.
Okay. Thank you, Anson. How about you, Gabriel? Do we have a killer app yet? Is it education, or do you see it as something else?
Well, I gotta admit, I feel a little bit of pressure now.
We're all friends here, eh, Gabriel. See what you need to, my friend.
Being inside of On the Moon and the Educators and VR conference.
It's not a loaded question at all.
Yeah. So I think I have to agree with my colleagues as well, which is at the most basic level, the shift that I see has to do with the difference, which is kind of the difference that makes a difference, right? Which is the difference between information and experiential based learning or training, right? And so suddenly that capability, which I personally wouldn't, I don't, the killer app narrative I find to be sort of it's not a fan of the term. I actually don't know what, like, if you look at the World Wide Web, you know, do you say the killer app is websites? You know, was TCP/IP? Was it email? Maybe. In Web 2.0, is it social media or is it video? I think if you look at the trend, it's really about information sharing at higher and higher levels of fidelity that are more similar to the multisensory way that we cognize the world. It's embodied cognition. It's not just words on pages or text-based information. So I think that's an evolutionary arc in a species trying to learn to communicate with itself, share its ideas, its visions, its capabilities, capacities. You know, Anson, I'm a huge fan of the stuff you guys are doing with guys at Microsoft. I think this is, you know, to me, this is still one of the most staggering features in the world, where you can take a digital twin of an entire process of assembling something or maintaining or repairing something and project it right onto the object itself and then have it walk you through. You know, that's not text-based instruction. That's not words.
It's an experience.
So it's an experience. And so I think experience is that defines the era of the spatial web, whether it's in VR, AR, or whatever you'd like to call it. But the reason for that is that it's just more natural and intuitive to our biology. And so this is an inevitable, we're inevitably arriving here. It doesn't feel like it's something that the market is doing. It's something evolution is doing.
Thank you very much, Gabriel. Now, in the time that I've been, you guys have been in this space for a long time. Shall I tell you how long I've been involved in VR? 20 months. That's it. I put my first VR headset on 20 months ago. And
you picked the right time to begin.
Absolutely. It was 3 weeks before the Oculus Go released. And I feel like I strapped into a Formula One race car and just, you know, no looking back. But I realized when I first came across the idea of spatial computing, at one point I was looking at my son playing Minecraft, like you were saying, Tom, earlier. Kids are spatial natives. That's the way I see it. I look at them, and we half of education is teaching them to deal with abstractions of information or experience through a book or reading or this or that. If we can give them the direct experience, their minds are spatial learning organs, and it seems like the technology is catching up to be able to educate this new generation of spatial learners in the way that they want to learn, but it's almost as if our education system has gotten in the way. Do we need a spatial curriculum? This is something I've been thinking about. Do we need to develop a spatial curriculum that allows trainers, teachers, educators to develop the professional skills to integrate this into the classroom to catch up with our spatial generation? Tom, what do you think? Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wow. Hmm. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. All right. All right. Yes. Yes. You're right. Very true. Yeah. 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 Yes. Yes. Very true. Yes. Yes. I agree. Okay. Thank you, Tom. Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much. Now, I've just realized I've lost track of time a little bit because I am so engrossed listening to the three of you. I could go on for a long, long time. I think I don't want to hold you up. I think one of or two of you have to get to another meeting. I'm aware of that. And I'm also aware I don't want to hold up the audience here who've made the long trip from planet Earth to the moon to listen to you speak. I regret we don't have more time. I am going to call time now. But I just want to thank you so much. Anson, I'm really, really glad you finally made it to join us.
Yes. Sorry
You
about
were
that.
in. It's
I
okay.
thought the panel started at 2 o'clock, not 1:30.
There you go.
Apologize.
There you go. So yeah, we had you in Altspace a little bit earlier. Gabriel, fantastic to meet you. Everybody, Gabriel is also giving another talk. That's right, isn't it?
Yes, on Friday. I'll be giving a whole talk on the spatial web.
Right, and that will be here in Engage. Is that correct as well, I think?
That's correct.
Wonderful. So we're going to be back here on Friday. Tom is going to be back on Friday as well to share about your manifesto, the VR manifesto, the learning manifesto. So we have more in store from these wonderful guests. I want to say a huge thank you to Chris and to Mike from Engage VR for helping us out, to David Dermott, who built this stage, to David Whelan for supporting us. Thank you to you all for coming. And I'm just super excited. I'm lost for words about how well this virtual conference has gone and is going. I didn't have a clear idea of what it would be, but now we're in the middle of it. I am super excited, and I'm sure we're going to do more in this space. Tom, lovely to see you. See you around soon. Gabriel, wonderful to meet you. See you soon. Anson, I'll be in touch. Thank you very much, everybody. All right.
Unmuted everybody for an applause. Thank you.
Yeah. Feel free to hang out. Oh, Chris, should we take a selfie? Can we take a quick selfie? Can we do that?
Absolutely. Let me come grab some pics here of you guys.
Right. Yeah. Right. Take some pictures of all of us. I'm going to go sit on this chair quickly. My friend Tom.
Oh, that's great. Beautiful.
Yeah. Excellent.
Awesome.
All right.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you, everybody. Feel free to stay and mingle and chill if you want. I'm going to have to go myself because I'm back into Altspace recording some more sessions there. Thank you for coming. Safe trip home to planet Earth. All right, Chris, if I go, Chris, will the place stay open?
You're going to want to exit the soft way, if you recall how to do that. You'll see on the menu, there's two ways to exit.
The white button,
exit.
not the red one.
Yeah, leave rather than end session, right? I'm leaving. Thank you very much, everybody. See you soon.
Right.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Daniel.
Yeah, no problem. Wait, I'll finish the recording first. Save, and then exit, leave. There you go.
Thank you guys so much. Tom, that was awesome. Anson, thank you.
Mike, that was absolutely excellent.
I really enjoyed it.
It's nice to meet you.
David,
I'm
you're
Paul from
muted up
Leitrim.
there.
Oh,
Hi.
hey.
Instrument